Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I am here to do a week 2 check-in for the month of July. Real casual like, because I only have my little point and shoot type of camera. My big camera is actually in the shop. She is in Florida in Deerfield Beach being repaired and she's been gone for about a week. So just gonna do like a real type of casual check-in and just walk you guys through what all has transpired in the past week, because I did do a week 1 check-in. So if you want to see our July monthly budget and the week 1 check-in, then I will link those up here. But for the most part, we're just going to be talking about, you know, how we're progressing through this month. This month is a big month for us because we are hoping to have enough saved up in our student loan account fund to be able to pay off my husband's student loans. So anyway, let's go ahead and talk about updates from last week. Okay, so there have been 2 major updates since last week. The first one is that we did go ahead and pay our federal taxes as well as our state taxes. We did owe $10,000 almost in taxes, with 70% of that going towards the feds and the other percent of that, well, yeah, the other percent of that going towards the state of Georgia. We did pay our federal taxes online through the IRS website. They have like an online payment situation, and that was for no additional cost because we did a bank transfer. And then for our state taxes, Georgia actually wanted like $55 for a processing fee. So we actually went to the post office and wrote a check and sent our payment certified mail. So we have paid our taxes, which hasn't been that bad. Like, it was kind of drama the day after to like see all the money leave from our account, because I did have it in our savings account, which was our taxes account. It's a savings account, and then I transferred it to checking, and then I just kind of let it sit in there. So when they went to, I didn't know if we were going to pay check form for both, so I just transferred it to a checking account so that when it was removed, you know, whenever they went to withdraw the money or take the money, run the checks, it could just, you know, go right to them and it wouldn't be a huge thing. So it was kind of drama seeing that money leave, but it wasn't as dramatic as one might think, or as I thought originally. So that has taken place, or those things have taken place. Technically, you know, they were 2 different things essentially. So now we will have to start kind of like rebuilding that account and making sure that we have enough in our account whenever we go to pay our 2020 taxes. So that has been a thing. Also, I did go ahead, my domain renewal and my website renewal have both come out of our account. So that's kind of like the one major, those are like the real, you know, real changes really that took place from last week to now, because none of our bills were due, like none of our bigger bills. So those things took place. Another major thing, which we'll talk about later, we did go on a little date. That was quite fun. Nothing really that we need to talk about outside of the monthly budget. So let's go ahead and talk about our income and our bills and expenses for the past, well, so far this month. So for income, we have brought in $2,680.98, which is a decent amount, but really not a whole lot in comparison to what we have budgeted to bring in. I do want to let you guys know that I have our budget here in my planner. So I have our income and then our projections for our income and our bills, and then I have, this is actually where I do like a mid-month check-in just to see where we are throughout the month. If I have a line through it, that means like we haven't spent any from that category, and then I'll come back at the end of the month and do like an actual recap. But just to let you guys know, this is pretty much what I am going off of. I would hold it here and talk the whole time, but that would be kind of awkward. So let's just go ahead and like move through this. So like I said, $2,680.98 has come to our account. So we're ways off for our what we're projecting at bringing in for the month. We have like 6,000 more to go, and of course if we do that, then we will have the money to pay off my husband's student loans. Before we jump into bills and expenses, I do want to say that we have a separate account. We don't have like a bunch of accounts really, but we do have a separate account. We did create a separate like account for the student loans. So somebody asked last time if we would be like emptying our bank account to pay off the student loans, which would defeat the purpose of us like trying to navigate this pandemic. So no, we will not be doing that. We will just be taking the money from the account. Like I think I mentioned in the comment when I was responding, if like by the end of July, if we're off like a couple $100s or something, we'll probably take that money from one of our other accounts. But if it's like 1,000 or something, if we're like severely off, then we'll just keep saving. But we're gonna be, if we're not on track, if we don't meet the goal by July, we're gonna be like super close. So let's go ahead and talk about these bills and expenses. So regarding the mortgage, it came out on the 1st, of course, so that was already paid and has been paid. The security has not come out yet and won't until the end of the month. Electricity came out on the 2nd. Our phone bill came out on the 2nd. Cable/internet has not come out yet. Water/sewer has not come out yet. Car insurance, I have it in our budget, but it's not really, it doesn't really need to be there because we paid our car insurance in full in December, so we won't pay again until the 6-month premium ends, which is going to be in December. We pay my husband's health insurance. That's just for him because his job is small, as is mine, but he has way less employees at his job than I have at mine. So they actually like don't do direct deposit. They don't direct deposit. They don't really have anything fancy. They certainly, they do have a 401k plan, which is crazy, but they certainly, you have to pay your own health insurance. So we actually pay for his separately, and then his dental and vision, he's on my dental and vision plan, which he doesn't go to any doctors ever unless I encourage him to do so or schedule his appointment for him. So he probably really doesn't need it, but I can't imagine life without all of the types of insurances that are available to you. Life insurances are due at the end of the month, so we haven't paid those yet. And then of course we have diverted my student loan payment and put that with my husband's because my student loans are in a forbearance. My husband's are too, but we're really close to paying his off, so we're just putting all our time and energy into that. And we have been trying to pay off my husband's student loans. We have been making the minimum payment this whole time, by the way. So anyway, our self-imposed minimum payment, considering his loans are in forbearance, is $295.20, and that's about how much we paid. That is exactly how much we paid whenever we were making our minimum payments. Mine was like 200 and something, and his was like 70 something. So together the minimum payments were $295.20, so that's why we have chosen to put $295.20 toward my husband's student loans. So that is pretty much our bills and how that has been working out. So let's go ahead and talk about expenses. Oh, and I do want to say that for bills, we pretty much know all about how much, we know how much they're going to be before the new month starts. The only one that's somewhat debatable is that's all. Yeah, we realistically know how much all of the bills are going to be. Oh, water and, is it water and sewer? Sometimes we don't get our water/sewer bill until a couple of days into the month. So basically all of the bills were as budgeted. So moving on to expenses, first up we have allowance. My allowance is $100. Thus far I have spent $44. I can't really remember what I've spent the money on, but that's how much I've spent so far. I did lose a nail today, conveniently, in the shower. Like, I noticed that it was kind of loose, but sometimes I'm like, I'm in my head, like, certainly my nail isn't loose. Like, not a whole, you normally don't have a whole like acrylic nail pop off like that, and it literally popped off in the shower, and I was like, oh my gosh. So the reason why I'm mentioning that is because I was gonna get my nails done, like do a fill-in this month, and I was just gonna take it out of my allowance. I kind of know at the beginning of the month how much I'm gonna need for my allowance, even though we budget $100 just off the rip. Like, I just pretty much already have a plan for how I'm gonna spend the $100 before the month actually starts. But going into July, I didn't really want a lot of things, so really I haven't really purchased really anything for my allowance. So if I get my nails done, I will certainly put the nails in my allowance. But I've been thinking about getting my hair done. I always need for my hair to like look halfway decent. It's just a thing for me. And the reason why I'm saying I'm thinking about getting my hair done is because I want my hair done, but I also know that I need to like take care of my actual hair. Like, I can't just always have my hair styled or braided up or twisted up or whatever. So I may or may not get my hair done. If I do, I will take it out of the allowance. But if I do that, I might be over because I've never gotten a, well, actually I used to get a hairstyle when I lived in a different state and it was cheaper cost of living. I used to get a hairstyle for like $45, but I was gonna say any of the styles that I get down here in Georgia are not gonna be, what's that, $66, $56. I'll have to figure out if I'm gonna get my hair done or not. But moving on to my husband's allowance, he has spent $63.85 of his $100 allowance. I don't really keep track of, I keep track of what we're spending, but I don't like keep track. Like I track all of our expenses, but I'm not like, if I can identify the amount on our in our bank account, the transaction, I'll ask my husband if he made the transaction, which is obvious because, you know, that's the only other person who has access to our debit cards and credit cards and whatnot. And if he says he made the transaction, I'll ask, that's all I'm looking for, is that he made the transaction, and then I'll just put it in his allowance. I don't really like keep track of what we're spending. I can't even recall what I spent my money on, so I don't really know what he has spent his money on, but yeah, he has spent $63.85. Next up, we have donations / gifts. We budgeted $150. Again, this is for that small spending. Like, as an example, I purchased wings for a coworker and some other things for a coworker because she randomly got married 2 weeks ago. So that was the situation, and I don't really recall what else we have spent money on realistically, but I do know that the main to-do that we have for this month is to purchase an anniversary gift for our friends. Basically, we have like $30 left. I had no intentions of sending them a $30 gift. It was gonna be like $75 or $100. So unless I find something super cool that they might be able to use that's $30, I'm probably just gonna send them like a gift card, like a food restaurant card or something. And realistically, $30 probably ain't gonna do the trick. We're probably gonna be over budget in that category. For toiletries, I budgeted $50. We're over at $58.03. I've been buying a lot of cleaning products and like exploring new products and using a lot of products. Oh my gosh. So we are over for toiletries. For beauty, we haven't spent anything. I originally budgeted just $15 for my husband's haircut. I guess the dude ain't getting a haircut anytime soon because he has not gotten a haircut in months. I always have known that he's not really a fan of going to barbershops, and he doesn't necessarily, I'm not saying he doesn't care what he looks like, but he's not tripping. Like, it matters not to him whether or not he gets a haircut. Like, it's really not that deep to him. It ain't that deep to me. I could care less what the dude looks like, if I'm being honest. So I guess he's not getting a haircut. I don't know. I can't speak for him, but it doesn't look like he's getting a haircut. So we haven't spent anything from beauty. For travel, I budgeted $0. We have spent $0. We haven't gone anywhere for July. Remember I told you guys I was gonna go meet with my friend at the beach, but she didn't know if she was coming. Like, I didn't get word that she was coming until like the beginning of July maybe, which isn't too bad, but she came to, or went to South Carolina to the beach for a few days around the 10th of the month, and I just had already like made plans. Like, we had a podcast interview, we had scheduled a date night for that Saturday, podcast interview on that Sunday. Anyway, it just didn't shake out, so I didn't go. So I haven't spent anything for travel as of right now. For house, I am over at $241.95, but remember, not really, because I purchased our new dining room table with funds that I earned from last month from selling our old dining table and other things in the house. So it looks like we're over, but really we're not. For business, I am well over budget there. I budgeted $400. I've spent $571.19. Most months I can stick to like $350, $400 without trying whatsoever. It's just how it kind of shakes out. I know the business budget well enough, but in July, a lot of things have happened in July. I had the domain renewal, and I had to buy a new P.O. box key, and I had the website renewal, and I made some bulk purchases, so I'm just over. However, the rest of the money, I'm gonna continue to spend money from the business budget, unfortunately, but it'll be like smaller things like the rest of my subscriptions, which are $2, $3, whatever. So I'll probably come in about $600 for the business budget. Next up, we have miscellaneous. We budgeted $100. We are over $139.40. We are over at $139.47. Normally this will capture most miscellaneous expenses, but my husband did need an oil change and some other little work on his car, so we just took it out of the miscellaneous budget. Unless the expense is like really, really large, like a $300, $400, $500 expense, we normally just take that. If we haven't budgeted for it, we normally just take that from our savings account. Of course, the purpose of the savings account for us is to just have money for if we really need it. So if it's like a strong need and it's a lot, we will take it from our savings account. We're not too picky about, like it's not hard for us to spend money from our savings account if we really need an item. So one of the things that I do want to mention is that my camera is currently being repaired. The repair is going to be like $400. So I am assuming that that will come out of savings. That's pretty much the only real way that's pretty much our only option there. So that's just an example of what I'm talking about. For gas, we budgeted $120. We've spent $57.24. And for food/dates, oh, that's interesting. We budgeted $540 and we've spent already $546.99. Like I mentioned, we did go on a date night. It was kind of impromptu. It was super chill. We went to eat, which we haven't been afraid of doing. And then we went to Topgolf. We have not saved any yet, as you can see. Like I said, we have like $6,000 more that we are hoping to bring in, and we will pay our bills and expenses with everything but $4,216.81 of that, because that is how much we need to put in our student loan fund to pay off our student loan. I do want to mention that you guys know the end of the forbearance is in September. It's actually September 30th, so we for sure want to pay off the student loans by then. However, and I would say we're kind of rushing, to be realistic, but we're kind of rushing because if we get this over with, we can kind of go back to living our lives and talking about what our next financial plan will be. We're not really sure what that's going to look like, but we do know that we've had a lot of money leave our account already so far for July, and we're going to have a lot of money leave our account when we pay off his student loans. So we definitely want to like re-up and add some money back into our account. Maybe just add the money that we recently spent on student loans, because I don't really consider the IRA, I mean, that's a lot of money, but that's just like, we've had that money saved up since we've had that money since 2019 or whatever. So, you know, we may want to re-up a little bit. It just was a little comforting during COVID to do that, but I do really want to pay off the student loans during COVID, just period, of course, too. So that's probably what we're going to do. I don't know if we would do that if it weren't for COVID, but I do want to say that with COVID and with the projections about, it's just like some weird stuff at my job with just dealing with this whole COVID thing. It's kind of like throwing the whole job for a loop. So for me, I think I kind of want to just save up some more money after we pay off the student loans, just kind of maybe like replace the money. Realistically, we've never had like a true emergency. I've never had like a real emergency since we have been on this financial freedom journey. So it's not like I think that we need to have like $100,000 in the bank or anything, but definitely want to add some money back into our account. Another thing that I want to mention is that August is going to be the reason why we had a plan of doing it in May, June, and July, like a real solid plan if we stuck to a strict budget, which we've been doing, is because we like August would be like, if things didn't really go right, like if we're short $1,000 at the end of July for whatever reason, then we can use some of the month of August to kind of like make sure that we're meeting that goal. We just gave ourselves a little bit of a grace period. You would think September would be like a grace period too, because September the 30th is when the forbearance will end, but really we're like planning to pay off the loans before, like around my husband's birthday, which is at the beginning of the month. So that's why August is really like our grace period. Technically September is too. We were prepared to just fully throw away the entire month of September, like probably not even do a budget really, like maybe like a rough budget, but not even like really keep up with the budget a whole lot, because we were just gonna ball out to celebrate my husband being student loan debt free and for our birthdays. As you guys know, we were gonna go to Miami for our birthday, but with COVID cases on the rise, missed me with all that. So I don't want to go to Miami that bad. I love Miami. I frequent Miami. I go at least once a year. If COVID was like even remotely under control, I wouldn't have minded going, because my plan was just to go from the hotel to the beach, from the hotel to the beach anyway. But yeah, it ain't worth a $47 flight ain't worth me risking my life at all. Plus, the reason why I bought the flight too is because there's a no change fee, so I can change the flight for and just push it back to like next year, assuming COVID is like under control or like whatever by then. That's kind of why we are doing things the way that we're doing, and we were going to give ourselves a little, you know, extra month in August, like a little grace period in case we fell short in May, June, or July. And because in September we were prepared to pay off the student loans at the beginning of the month, which we may do earlier, and then ball out for the whole month of September and not worry about the budget or finances at all. So anyway, I will keep you guys posted. I will probably be back next week. I'm loving doing this for like accountability reasons. I probably won't be doing weekly check-ins moving forward. I don't really do it a whole, I mean, I can't tell you the last time I did a weekly check-in. So anyway, I just wanted to update you guys on our budget and just let you guys know where we were. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.